Miracle Reporters, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now so you don't miss out on all the awesome videos we're going to be doing over the next couple of days. I'm working my hardest to make sure I give you daily content these days, instead of like posting here and there. It's a long story, but I finally have my place back to myself, so I really don't have to ask anybody or tiptoe around anybody to shoot a fucking video. So subscribe. So let's chat about something. MTV just released a mid-season trailer for what's to come for the rest of the season. I feel like, and I'm pretty sure all of you feel like, they've been listening to the rumblings across the internet and they noticed that we are bored as hell of the show. You know what? They don't even have to listen to the internet. They just have to look at their ratings to notice that they are plummeting down to the ground. Like, no one wants to watch this anymore because nothing happens. Let me point out some things that happen in the season trailer and what you can look forward to. First of all, we're going to see the birth of Maverick, Macys' third miracle child. I know a lot of us are curious to see how he makes it out. We all know that Macey was drinking an awful lot during this pregnancy, so we really want to see if he looks okay. But I just want to remind you guys that even if he physically looks okay, fetal alcohol syndrome also affects, you know, mental growth, and it could also show up a lot later, so physically as well. So we really don't know. A little glimpse at him is not really going to tell you much one way or the other. All we could do is hope and pray for him that he is as healthy as possible, despite his mother drinking while pregnant with him. We also see Amber like crying that she wants to be left alone. Like, she's like, well, I just want to be left alone. I'm so tired of all this. Amber, didn't you find yourself in almost $200,000 in debt the last time we left you alone? Clearly that doesn't work out for you. You didn't bother to go back to school or get yourself a real job. So I'm pretty sure your livelihood and Matt's bills depend on us not leaving you alone. So enjoy taping, boo-boo. Farrah starts screaming at her mom, telling her that she's sick of her, telling her that her memories and stuff are a lie. And I am wondering, I'm seriously wondering, everyone seems to be wondering, is she about to finally tell us what happened to her that was so traumatic that when she was on couples therapy, she had all the cameras exit so she could tell Dr. Jen about it? I'm really curious. Obviously, I'm not gonna push for Farrah to open up about something that she doesn't want to, but I really do hope that she finally lets us in a little bit so that we can start to humanize her a little bit better. You know what I mean? There's so many rumors about what truly happened to Farrah in her childhood that she's always alluding to, and she might just spill the beans by the end of this season. And honestly, I hope she does, just so that we have a better picture of her, and for her own freedom as well. The truth shall set you free. You know, she's probably hiding it, not because she doesn't want to speak about it personally, because she's open about everything. We've seen her back door, right? It's probably to protect her parents. You know what I mean? So finally letting it go will probably be a huge weight off of her chest, and we're all waiting with open ears, some of us with open arms as well, to hear what Farrah has to say about that. It doesn't sound like therapy did Caitlyn that well, because she seems to go from depressed to downright suicidal by the end of the season. She's saying things like, I feel like everyone would be better off if I weren't here. And that is a really scary thing for her to say, especially as a newlywed and young mother. We see Tyler is really frustrated with her at that point, and that he says, we don't know who to yet, but he says that he can't live like that any longer or forever. A lot of you guys around the internet, I feel like, are being really harsh to Tyler about the way he feels about Caitlyn's depression. It's really difficult to be around someone who is like permanently depressed for anybody. So I don't understand how you expect Tyler to deal with the fact that he's around a woman who doesn't get out of bed. We've seen her teeth were practically green last season because she didn't even brush her teeth. She doesn't change her clothes, doesn't do her hair. She hardly raises their child. She's not who she once was. Like, that's hard for anyone to adjust to. And when someone's energy is this low, your energy is eventually going to go that low as well. And that's hard. I don't understand what you want from Tyler. I can perfectly understand where he's coming from. I totally hear him on that. I used to have a friend, and this friend reminds me of Caitlyn, except she didn't like go full-blown overweight or anything like that. But I had a friend where she was always depressed, and it was frustrating because she never did anything. Like she didn't go to school, she didn't bother with working, like she didn't leave her house. So to me it's like, well, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So what, like, why, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's frustrating. I personally can see why Tyler's frustrated. I can absolutely see why Tyler's frustrated. Caitlyn doesn't do anything. She doesn't have any goals. I feel like that could be a big reason why she's depressed. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. If you have no school to go to, no job to work towards, like you're not even raising your child, what do you have that is motivating you? You know what I mean? I can totally see where he's coming from, and I really want Caitlyn to pick up at least a hobby, get an identity outside of Tyler. When they were doing their speaking circuits and stuff like that, and writing their book, she was a lot more upbeat because honestly, she had something to do. I'm not trying to oversimplify depression or stuff like that. Obviously, there are biological and chemical aspects as well, but I could see why it's frustrating that a person is depressed and doesn't seem to be making advancements at all to get themselves out of the hole that they're in. So, and also I don't think that it's right to jump down his throat just yet because we don't know who he was speaking to. If he told Caitlyn, I can't do this, like, for life, yeah, I could see where you're coming from, that it is harsh for him to say that to his new wife at her low point, but he could have been saying it to Butch. He could have been saying it to Kim. He could have been saying it to his friend, if he got a friend this season. You know what I mean? So we don't know. I'm going to wait and see on that. Next up, we see Matt tell Amber that he wants to move his son into her home that he shares with her, that he weaseled his way in with her. Matt's son looks like he's probably older than Amber, and he is a former drug addict. Amber, we already know based on like her recent interviews with the press, says yes. And this is why when people say Amber is a pretty good mom and that Gary doesn't give her enough slack, I go, what part of Narnia are you from? Because here is a woman who let some strange man, 40-year-old man that she met off the internet for the first time, move into her home immediately, knowing she had a super duper young daughter. She let him move into the home that she shares with her young daughter. That is not a mother. That is a big sister or an aunt who is detached from, you know, the child that they sometimes watch. That's not a mother. I don't think mothers do that type of bullshit. And if they do, they're shitty mothers. And that's why I think Amber's a shitty mother. And we see that she's about to do it yet again, this time with a sketchy man's sketchy son. So you're gonna have two strange men that you hardly know around your daughter. Amber, you know what? Sign over those documents because you are not ready for this parenting thing at all. And Gary is rightfully so worried. It seems in the preview that he's more worried about the whole drug aspects, if drugs will be around Leah. But to me, that comes second. Like, you know what? If Leah sees drugs here and there, that's nothing compared to what these strange people could actually do to her that could damage her for life. So I'm disappointed in Amber, but what's new? It's Amber. She really does seem to care about men a lot more than she could ever care about her own child. And that's just sad, despicable, and disturbing on so many levels. Next up, Farrah starts yelling at Simon, like they're like tension, comes to a glowing like freeze as she's wearing these weird like psychotic hypnosis glasses. And it was just so trippy. Can you imagine someone yelling at you with those weird ass glasses on? I'd be like, okay. And then Ryan's dad explodes. He's talking to his mom, and there's a producer on the couch. They break the fourth wall here, talking about Ryan, who earlier in the preview said that his dad was an asshole or a dick or whatever. And Ryan says he is sick of that blood sucking leech. And he said it like that with a hand motion, so you know he means it. And then Mimi Jen gets up crying, blah, 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 walks away. I want to be on Team Larry here, but I feel like, Larry, you get what you raised. You let this man go about from day one, it seems like, having girlfriends pretty much his whole life. Like, and you always talk to him about fucking women. What did you expect he was going to turn into? So let me tell you why I don't feel bad for Larry at all. and this might be a cultural thing. I'm a first generation African girl. I'm not African American, Afro-Canadian, whatever. Like, don't let the voice fool you. I'm first generation African girl. So for me, culturally, I didn't grow up with parents being like, oh, like, do you have a boyfriend? Where's your boyfriend? You could let this boy sleep over at your house. So that's why, like, those sorts of things, and it seems like it was normal to the Edwards household. And like, even the way Macey speaks to Bentley about girlfriends constantly, like, it's so weird. To me, you're almost encouraging that kind of shit to happen, the whole like 16 and pregnant thing to happen. So like, that's why I didn't feel bad for Macey and Ryan when they got knocked up at 16. It's kind of like, well, frig, your parents are okay with two 16-year-olds shacking up in a house? Like, come on, you know what I mean? And Ryan's family never really pushed him for greatness, second of all. Like, even after he had Bentley, they didn't push him to get back in school. They haven't pushed him to get into work. And he's just been like coasting, living at their house all these years. The man is pushing 30. He's got a head full of gray hairs like George Clooney, and he's still coasting at his family's house, not working, not going to school. And they didn't seem to have a freaking problem with it. And now all of a sudden, Larry, you're gonna scream and cry and call your child like a leech. You raised him that way. You allowed him to be mediocre his whole entire life. Like, why all of a sudden do you expect it to freaking change? This was the standard in your household. So no, I don't feel bad for Jen and Larry in that case. I feel like they got exactly what they deserved. Remember in the last episode, like, Ryan admitted that his current girlfriends still get to sleep over at his house? Like, really? Like, I could be like 29, 30 living back with my parents, and I could not have no man sleeping over at their house. And that's why I'm not knocked up. And last but not least, we're gonna see a little bit of Macys Bridal or bachelorette, bridal shower or bachelorette party. I'm not sure which one it was, but here's something I really wanted to point out in where Macey's logic is kind of like Kale's logic in that it's stupid. Remember the season where she said that she didn't want to be on the show if Farrah was going to be on it because Farrah was a porn star? Well, Macey, in this preview, we see you on stage getting a lap dance from a stripper. You're actually showing yourself as Bentley's mom on stage getting a lap dance from a sex worker, but you're upset with the fact that Farrah is just a plain, you know, sex worker. We haven't seen Farrah get her mold or like her little toys and stuff, you know, or even like hang out at a strip club or anything like that. But we're seeing you at the strip club. You know what I mean? And it's like, which is worse, knowing that that's what Farrah did, she had a video and like a line or whatever, or actually seeing you as Bentley's mom on stage with a stripper? Which one's worse for Bentley's school? Huh? Because to me, it kind of sounds like it's this one, you on stage with a stripper, but I could be wrong. Guys, let me know if you feel like she's a hypocrite in the comment section down below. There you go, you guys. That's what you can expect for the rest of the season of Teen Mom OG. If you stopped watching it, let me know if this trailer makes you feel like watching the show again, giving it another chance, or not. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. You can also follow me across social media as well, where I do love chatting with you guys. Take care.